Space Station. Hi guys, it's Ben here from T-Rex Space Station. How's everyone doing? This is going to be another video response to this fortnight's Friday Foursome. And this time it's on which 4 franchises of video games would you kill off? Yeah, what are the video game series that you're sick to the teeth of, you've had enough of them, and that you want to basically get rid of them? And this is actually quite a tough question, one that I had to scratch my head about and kind of think of for a while, not as easy as some of the other ones that we've done. And I actually made my list before watching Chris's responses to his own questions, and there are some overlaps. I couldn't help it. It's just these ones that I guess a lot of people would have thought of too. I suppose there are certain franchises that several like-minded people will all be completely sick of, and it's not surprising that there are going to be quite a few people with the same answers here, I think. Before I go into my answers, it's important to say that this is just light-hearted, so if you happen to love one of these games or one of these franchises and disagree with me, it's just a little bit of fun. I'm not actually going to try and campaign to get these video game series shut down, although some of them may have already shut themselves down. You'll have to wait and find out. Okay, so number 1 then, which overlaps with Chris, is Call of Duty. I'm absolutely sick of Call of Duty games. The franchise seems to almost be never-ending. It's like every few months there's a new Call of Duty game, and it's really overhyped. It's all talked about on YouTube. There's loads of adverts, and everybody's bloody going on about it. These just look like really generic rehashings of the same FPS. I actually really can't tell what the bloody difference is between all the different ones. I don't care if it's Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, Ghost, Black Ops, Special Elite Fighting Squadron, Special in Space, Hidden Secret Version, Bullshit 1.4. I don't care! It's all just the same fucking game. Why do you play it so much? And the thing that makes my fucking blood boil is how popular it is on YouTube. There are some channels that are so big and famous, and all they do is play fucking Call of Duty over and over again. There's no effort in there, there's nothing, it's just playing the standard FPS game. And I just want to get rid of it. Stop playing Call of Duty. I mean, this is one of the things that I'm sort of sick to death of with AAA games, is that they always play it too bloody safe. And Call of Duty is the perfect example of playing it too bloody safe. They know that if they can rely on the same franchise, the same label that's always been popular before, it will continue to be a cash cow for them. They can milk its little teat, and hundreds of fanboys will buy every fucking version of it because that's what happens. Is that good enough? Is that what's actually driving video games forward? No. It's pathetic. It's time that we saw some actually innovative first-person shooters. Something that will actually bring me back to the genre. Because I absolutely love FPS games. I used to really like them when I was younger, and now I'm completely disillusioned with them. And it's because of fucking things like COD, and maybe the overhyped Destiny as well, which was another sort of complete flop in terms of all the hype that was surrounding it. It seems like FPS games get more hyped than anything else. It's all adverts of shooting and explosions and points and multiplayer, and it's just the same stuff. I'd prefer just to go with a completely unmodded original version of Doom, which is still as fun as it ever was, and have video games really improved on the innovation of those early games. Not that much. I'm disillusioned with them. I don't give a fuck about which version of Call of Duty, Ghost Squadron, Recon, Expert, Spy game we're on. It's all the same. Piss off. Whew, I can feel my blood boiling. I'm actually having a little bit of a rant, which is really nice to get some stress off my chest. Number 2. This franchise kind of lynched itself anyway. I don't need to say that it needs to be killed because it did it all on its own. It got a big shovel and dug its own hole and said, look at me. I'm Duke Nukem forever. Yes, I'm afraid I would like to get rid of Duke Nukem. I don't even see this as a franchise. I don't know if anybody else is like me. I don't see Duke Nukem as a franchise. There was one amazing game, Duke Nukem 3D, that should just be left in and of itself as an isolated amazing game. Stop pissing around with it and trying to make something out of that. Why can't games just be standalone and good? I think what happens is when a game gets that reputation, that amount of sales and that amount of sort of credit in the community, people think, there's some money to be made here, we'll have to make more of them, we'll have to make sequels, we'll have to use Duke Nukem's name to keep going. I really don't think there's been a good Duke Nukem game since Duke 3D. On the, well, whatever it was on. It was on the 64, wasn't it? But mostly on the PC was where I played it. And I think there was a PlayStation port as well. That was a great game. Didn't need tinkering with, doesn't need updating, doesn't need anything else to come after it. We can just enjoy the memories that we had of that game without having to make the absolute shower of shit that came after it. There was some crappy sort of third-person shooters on the Nintendo 64 that were fucking awful. And then there was all that hype about Duke Nukem Forever, which turned out just to be a standard first-person shooter, but we were so hard on it because it was the hype that was built around it, with making this whole thing into a franchise and hyping up and spending years and years making a sequel to it that we didn't even need. But you made us want it by talking about it so bloody much. I don't want to... I think what happens when you make a sequel to a game that's shit, it sullies the original. It actually dilutes the fun and the beauty of that original standalone title. And the more you do that, the worse it gets. So let's just say, no, Duke Nukem was once good. There was a good Duke Nukem game. Let's stop flogging a dead horse. Please don't try and raise our expectations and make another one. I know there's a temptation to be like, well, we could make Duke Nukem Forever. We could redeem ourselves by making a good one. No, just leave it. No more pissing around, please just leave it. I mean, the early games on the PC, the platformers, you know, Duke Nukem 1 and 2, they were okay. Like, they were just reasonable platform games, but, you know, they were very, very different to Duke 3D, weren't they? It's not really a franchise, it was one great game. Leave it that way. Right, this third one is going to get me in an awful lot of trouble, because I know there are some pretty big fanboys out there, but I just want to say it, can't we please just get rid of Minecraft? I don't care about Minecraft. What's so good about it? I just don't get it. Whenever I see people playing it, I'm like, this looks pixelated and shit, and you're just kind of digging grass on your own and like making... I don't know, what do you do that's fun about it? Making buildings and things. I think there is a survival mode, but it just all looks awful. And what annoys me the most is, I guess because I haven't played it, I'm like, ugh, why is everyone enjoying that game? I don't like it. It can't be that good. It's just a horrible, selfish, egotistical thing to say. But how much attention it gets is what annoys me. I hate it when games have a monopoly and they just suck attention in. Call of Duty's one, you know, just huge swathes of YouTube channels just with that game. And so Minecraft has done that too. It's like it dilutes our inspiration and makes us all focus in on one thing. Again, there are YouTube channels that just do Minecraft. And that's all that they ever do. They don't go anywhere else. It's just this game. It's just little bits of grass. It's digging. It's fucking around making pyramids. I don't know what it is. I just don't get it. And can't we just have enough of it now and go on to the next big thing? I mean, it is a triumph. It's an indie game that's so big and mainstream. I appreciate that. I really like that concept. But I just don't get the game itself. I don't want to play it, and I don't think I would ever like it. I don't get the purpose of the gameplay. Is there not, like, an end objective? And I like things like Starbound, which is kind of similar, but there's combat and guns and stuff in there and building. I don't know. I just don't get Minecraft. I'm sorry. Please don't lynch me. And the last one, again, another overlap with NovaBug. This is ridiculous, isn't it? But I want to say it. It's Final Fantasy. Again, similarly, I remember the glory days of Final Fantasy when we had 7, 8 and 9 on the PlayStation 1. Those were amazing games. I wasn't actually into the thing before then. I didn't have the ones on the SNES and things, weren't there? No. I came at that point, and those were sweet games, and that was the sweet spot. And I did continue to anticipate and enjoy them up until Final Fantasy 12. Isn't 12 iterations of a game enough? Aren't you kind of just flogging a dead horse by carrying on with this same franchise? You need to branch out, you need to do something different. And certainly the later releases have been kind of shit. Final Fantasy 13 was a bit of a flop as far as I'm concerned. Nobody was particularly impressed by it. And I just kind of feel like JRPGs especially have been stuck into this rut where everything just feels like, well, it either is a Final Fantasy game or it's one that's based on it, trying to stray, well, stay as close to that Final Fantasy paradigm and formula as possible. No one would dare to make a JRPG that was different to Final Fantasy. And that upsets me. I don't think we need to keep going with it. Just leave it now. Okay, let's actually have a Final Fantasy. A Final Fantasy. And then it'll be like Final Fantasy X2.1 or whatever it was they did with 12, where they made all these different X ones. I just don't think it needs doing anymore. We've got the memories. Thank you. Now do something new. And one of the cool things, though, is that there are non-Final Fantasy games that I've really, really enjoyed. The Last Story, for example, that was a Square Enix game, I'm pretty sure, that was beautiful. And it did start to slowly move away from those old routines and explore some slightly new things, slightly different system of progression maybe, new combat features, and I want to keep pushing with that. Let's move away from that old same thing, try some new stuff in those games, try new mechanics, try new story features, try new bits that will just change the paradigm. Because we've had those games, and if I want to, I will just play them. They look good still. I like the way that those games look. I still think Final Fantasy X looks fantastic. It's a beautiful looking game. I don't need a new one. Let's go in a different direction now and do something new and inspirational. And you know, again, it's the remake thing. A lot of the earlier Final Fantasy has been remade in so many different iterations. And I just feel again like that's slightly milking of the cash cow, isn't it? Although it was kind of cool because they brought some of the older ones to the new generation or made them handheld. I don't have such a big deal with making them on handhelds because that's, you know, a different format, a way of making the game transportable and things. So yeah, 2 overlaps with NovaBug. Gosh, I need to get more ideas, don't I? But I think Call of Duty and Final Fantasy were both a great shout, Chris. I completely agree with your opinions on those. One of the interesting things is so many people have been like have picked Sonic for their answers, because there's been an awful lot of shit in that franchise. It's funny, I don't really feel like I need to get rid of Sonic because I don't know, I still feel very fondly about the Mega Drive games, as most of us do. That's probably where we all first fell in love with Sonic. And I just kind of ignored it since then. I didn't actually play the Game Boy games, which were actually really good, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. They were great, as far as people have told me. And then there was a crock of shit on the Wii, a load of different crappy ones, Black Knight or whatever. I just didn't play them. And I guess I don't really want Sonic to die. I want the franchise to get good because I think this character is strong enough. In the same way that there have been an awful lot of Mario games, but I still love them because the actual gameplay is good. If we can just get back on the right foot with Sonic, it'll be great. And I think the last one that came out on the Wii U was god-awful, but the last one that I bought was Sonic Colors on the Wii, which is fantastic, and it's really colourful, it's really unique, it has the pace of the original games, and new elements. So, I don't think I want to get rid of that franchise, I wouldn't kill it off. I just say, read the reviews, watch the gameplay footage, and don't buy it if it's shit. Because we know with the big franchises, there are going to be loads and loads of spin-offs because they want to cash in. But we don't want to kill Sonic. He's spiky and blue and cute. Anyway, I look forward to hearing your responses. Take care and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!